Good day. This is January the 27th, 2017, for Ross Jason Boehm Live of the Comox Valley, Courtney, British Columbia. It is quarter to 2 p.m., 1:43. Well, I sent this letter to the Ombudsman the other day on a complaint form of what I've gone through with social services, the doctors in the hospital system, and government agencies such as the police. I've done it many times for fridges, stoves, and all kinds of stuff about mistreating with tribunals, and done it again. They asked me 4 questions or 5 questions, whatever it might be, on the form that I have on the attachment. The first woman acted kind of confused. I have it on YouTube. Her conversation, I don't have the information that's saying it was the ombudsman at the starting of it, but I can redo it if it need be. And passed off to a lady, I think, named Kathy, who started to talk to me with disrespect in her tone of voice and ignorance, and didn't like her tone of voice, and told her all this stuff is in the information that I sent you. If you can't read it or go through my video statement evidence, then oh well. You're a tribunal that's supposed to listen to it, just like the Institution of the Blind will tell you. You have to be able to listen to somebody and go from there. All things have to be verbally set out. You can't take somebody's freedom of speech away, freedom of belief, freedom of health, freedom of self-defense, strength. Under family violence, you're not allowed to mess with genitals or testosterone levels, because that's the genitals of the body under family violence. Equal rights, both men and women have to follow by the same laws. That's equal rights. Human dignity as well. All rules apply to all genders, being male, female, or Frankensteins, or its, or transgenders, or gays, black, green, purple, Jewish, Muslim, Islam, Anglican, Roman Catholic, Lutheran, or Buddhism, or Protestant. All are equal before or after the law and have to follow by the same laws. That seems to be the problem. Women out of hand who have to be degrading to men after 125 years of having equal rights. What is the problem in this country when every speech a parliament says, or people in the parliament, are talking down to men on men's days or anything like that, and how hard they've worked in the past? It's not all about violence. Let's talk about family violence and child abuse that you never wanted to deal with either. Improper eye care, dental work, medical procedures, neglecting one kid over another, stealing their money, being, let's say, example of $5,000, what I went through, being told you'll get it back in interest in 7 to 14 years, doubled, and it never happening. Living in Article 25 of human rights, run-down motels turned into living quarters with bird shit all over the carpets, the walls, living in the room beforehand. People shitting and pissing, wrecking the place, spraying stuff under strata title housing, and wrecking the environment. Unclean environment that nobody can live in, with urine in the air. Water systems are always under water restriction and advisories every year in the same days. And why? Wasn't it done 100 years ago properly, like every other city that's 100 years old in Canada as well? The Ombudsman is not doing their job in this tribunal, nor is the Social Services Tribunal. It's unfair. It's not a jury. It's not a courtroom. It's not democracy, and should be shut down because those people are wasting their time and effort and segregating police under some BC Police Act that doesn't count in the federal law of the Department of Justice website under any police act in the federal jurisdiction, only in BC, because that's what they use for the BC police that don't exist today. A doctor is a human being and is responsible for their malpractices too. Same with the FDA. We are human lab rats if we're testing out their drugs and should be paid out properly as well. Just like an ICBC claim, same thing as a malpractice. For gynomasculists, it's a $76.6 million lawsuit just for having fat, not being sterilized with a lethal injection, causing gynomasculists huge amounts of fat or obesity losing health and fitness, dignity, because they detained you unlawfully without a court order or an assessment order by a judge, and have sprayed stuff in your face to cause harm to you that makes you mad, with an extreme migraine and burning face sensation and eyes. These are human rights violations by our government, and the tribunal of the Ombudsman person refuses to deal with it properly and has to be shut down. My feeling, they're foreigners assaulting Canadians in an act of terrorism, harming them more so. How many real Canadians that's lived here pre-World War II are breeding in this world? And how many foreigners are outnumbering Canadians in every city? The BC West Coast is the worst place to find jobs that are dignified enough to live by, and you can't live by the structure of society on minimum wage of $10.75. Justin Trudeau, Minister of National Defence, the Minister of Social Services, Premier Christy Clark, MLA Don McCrae, who I think picks sides with my mother, Anne Lai, who my mom thinks she's a big cheese because she went to the Parliament on some nursing thing and is not a nurse and has never taken a nursing thing and can't even do the Heimlich maneuver at all. Well, her son, myself, is choking to death, saying ill things so people can be institutionalized. They make huge amounts of money and assault them with different medication, that over-medicating them harm them so they can't live an adequate lifestyle, violating their dignity and human rights in this world. You've assaulted me so many times I can't live in this country, and now I feel like a refugee of Canada again. I wish you all a good day. And I've sent it out even to Mayor Mano, I call him, or Councilman Mano as well, who acts as assistant one on top of Larry Jungles, who doesn't want to listen either. A breach of trust by a public officer or official. For being assaulted in one of the recreational facilities and being ran out of parks and recreation, which we pay in our infrastructure taxes, which should be free to use for working out and swimming, playing intramural sports afterwards as well, just like in high school, because we pay school taxes as well. I've sent it in many times. This is a little more in depth than what I sent the Ombudsman, but it's all in there in my YouTube statements to the Canadian government, men's health, poverty in Canada, and side effects of INVEGA, and my recovery, and the assault and huge weight gain and obesity and loss of my health, fitness, and human dignity. My penis being shrunk, my health, fitness, and my life violated, stolen from me for over 16 years in family violence, government sexual harassment at the workplace, like criminal harassment and stalked. Everybody's unlawfully causing bodily harm, intent to harm. You're a common nuisance, thinking everybody needs to be ill or harmed by you. Many more laws, I just won't get into it today. Have a great day. Robert Yo, this was sent to you too. Your Secretary Kim Piercy, and to Harper as well. ISIS or CSIS as well, so they can investigate our government as treason to the people and not representing them as well. Neglecting the people. You're the fathers and mothers of our country, and your people are the people in your house called Canada or whatever province. Thank you very much. I hope you listened. Have a great day.
Next few pictures for the next couple seconds are people who I've seen around the Comox Valley from fitness centers, from being assaulted from a few people, and I spoke with over a 16-year span who's been put in newspapers and other things as well. Mostly acquaintances that you might run into once or twice a year for 5 to 10 minutes, which one doesn't really know at all. From the mayor and Justin Trudeau, or assistant mayor, I should say, Mano Theo, Larry Jungles, and Mayor Mano. This is Brittany, who assaulted me in the park verbally, and her husband. Both look like they're on some type of hormones, because lean muscle mass. I've never been that lean myself. Trent Boland, who became an auxiliary the same night I went to an auxiliary meeting with him as well. Amy and her boyfriend, who's a police officer in the Saskatoon Police Department. A nice picture of an older lady in a Another older lady, one fit, one not. And boy, would I like to get this fat off my body after being assaulted by the Canadian government and police brutality with INVEGA SUSTENNA.
And final, our Jay Phillips incident. A black man being assaulted by 3 boys. Let's try Juan at the CRA and his son, and the ignorance you get told being called a pervert in the park over and over again. And our mayor, Larry Jungles, the director of the CRA Rec Center, and all the council who were sent out, and the RCMP wouldn't do nothing about his assault on me, hitting me from behind like Todd Bertuzzi.